Love and light, my friends. I just thought today we just come off the dome. If anything's on the dome that comes off the dome, then you'll be seeing this or hearing this. If there's not, then you won't. But I kind of got the thought of hope. Like, how do people muster up hope in this world? I'm sure it's different for everybody. But if we break people into two main groups, which I don't really like labels at all, but in order to communicate and have some understanding, we have to use words and therefore. But let's say hope. How do people in the matrix find hope or have hope? And how do people outside the matrix have hope or find hope? And let's just go with people in the matrix first. People in the matrix. They want to have hope. They want to feel hopeful about the future, about their life, about their prospect. And let's keep in mind, everybody that's in the matrix is in that mentality. In other words, running multiple programs of which they must be unaware that they're running, because if you were aware you were running the programs, you would probably put a halt to it, and therefore you would extricate from the matrix so you wouldn't be in the matrix. So in other words, anybody that's still in the matrix is pretty clueless as to a higher reality that's happening simultaneously. So I think I would guess that whatever hope they choose to place hope in is going to be sort of superficial, is going to be based on that false reality, based on, the programs that they're running. And this is all, this is just piled layer upon layer from the time you're a kid until you get supposedly grown up, where you are now educated. You now know some stuff. But see, everything you now know has been based in delusions, illusions, outright lies, all of which is a design by a relatively small group of people that realized early on, hey, if we get a mainstream monetary system put in place that we control, that we run, we'll be able to just siphon everybody's energy, everybody's worth. And so in order to make that easier, we need to educate everybody and get everybody thinking in a hive mind type of a way. So therefore, if anybody gets out of line and says, hey, I think we live on a flat plane, and that's the extreme, apparently, that's the extreme example to use. There's lesser extreme examples, but hell, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks about that. I've come around to being a flat earther. I see what I didn't see before. And what I do still see in the matrix and in the mainstream is exactly what I just pointed out, that it's a hive mind. And if anybody steps outside of those boundaries, oh, how could they possibly know anything? The matrix has given us all of our wisdom. The education system has given us all of our knowledge and wisdom. So therefore, anybody outside of that is stupid, or whatever the labels they come up with. It's defensiveness. It's defending the matrix mind, is all that is. Another example of matrix, the history has been rewritten. There's some great YouTubers out there showing structures and buildings from back in the 1800s where they had circus. They put on a damn circus, showed off all of this amazing stuff, amazing architecture, amazing buildings, and have the nerve to say, oh, we just built all this temporarily for the circus. And it's all going to be torn down and dismantled after the circus. And so they showed it's the equivalent of destroying fine art. We're going to have this great art expo. We're going to show you all this amazing art. And then we're going to destroy it so that you don't catch on to our alternate version of history, our alternate version of reality. The fact that you have no idea if you're on a flat plane or a damn globe, because you really haven't proved it even to yourself. You've just gone with the crowd. You're just going with the crowd. Admit it right now if you're still a ball earther. You've never done tests or research or anything to prove conclusively to yourself, where you have no doubt. You might have now that this has all come out, but let's say before all of the flat earth stuff. You never did anything. You just believed what they told you. They had a globe spinning around on a half-cocked axis in your classroom when you were a kid, and that cemented that idea in your mind that you were on a spinning marble. And it's even worse than that, because the marble's not only spinning, but it's hurtling through space, which would change the position of the stars and the planets over the course of thousands of years. Isn't that just common sense to think that? Yet thousands of years ago, the ancient peoples talked about the constellations, talked about the stars, talked about the planets, told stories and myths surrounding what the lower gods, the heavenly bodies, were doing, interacting with each other. And here we are, thousands, even millions, they say, some people. Thousands and millions of years. We've traveled through space. Yet somehow, we're in the same proximity to the sun, to the moon. We see the same constellations. They're not all distorted. They're not way off over there on the horizon because we've moved so damn far away. I understand space is big. I get it. The cosmic egg is vastly huge. I get that. But you can't tell me we're moving 67,000 miles an hour for a million years, and the damn sun and the moon and Mercury and Mars and all the constellations are still going to be seemingly in the exact same spot they were a million years prior. So you never proved you were on a ball to yourself, or a marble, or a spinning planet. You went with the hive mind. You went with the matrix. The matrix distorted and lied and deceived you on every level, because they're trying to paint a picture that basically leaves you so dependent you're not even going to be able to cough without some help, without some correction. If you cough, you probably need to go see a nurse, because there's probably something wrong with your ass. And we're going to go and do some tests and find out what's wrong with you. Oh, well, here's what we found out. You need to see 3 specialists, because we don't cover that. We don't cover that. The specialists do. So you go to those specialists and you get bounced to 3 or 4 different people. And the next thing you know, they've discovered this is wrong with you, this is wrong with you, this is wrong with you. All based on just a damn cough you had. You just coughed, right? Or sneezed or whatever. Next thing you know, 3 specialists. Make sure your insurance is paid up, because we got some stuff for you. And it's not cheap. It's Acapulco gold level shit. But hey, it's high quality, and it's gonna knock you for a loop, and you'll forget that you have all these problems that we just found based on your cough. You've been matrixed. You've been matrixed if you get to that level. You have no idea that you're being duped from the ground up. If you get to that level and you can't see it, you can't acknowledge it, you can't understand. Some people like us on the fringe talking about everything you've been told is wrong, so let's try to figure out what is true, because we know we've been lied to about everything. Right? If the damn planet's not even really a planet spinning around and hurtling through space, if they lied about that, then they must have an awfully damn big agenda here that we clearly haven't seen yet, or we wouldn't be in the damn matrix to start with. And so we better start looking at everything. Then you find out the media, all the damn media is owned by the same few people. All this crap always goes back to the same place. The bankers, the money changers, the people that came up with all this bullshit in the beginning to start with. And they got a hold of the education system. They got a hold of that, and they said, look, you're going to teach what we want you to teach, because we're the ones funding this crap. So we're going to pay for, I don't even know how they pay for it really, but seems like everybody else is paying to get mind controlled to me. Seems like students are going into debt to become debtors and slaves so that they get their mind control. So how the hell did they pay for it? But nope, somehow back in the beginning when this shit got set up, they said, look, we're going to pay to build the building. So if we do that, you're going to teach what we want you to teach. And we need you to teach, evolution. We need these people to think that they came from slime. And over time, out of the slime, they became an ape. And that was great. So now you're just a higher ape. Now you're just an enlightened ape, I guess. Because you're smart enough to do everything right in the matrix so that you don't stir up no waves, so that you don't bring any attention to these controversial subjects, these conspiracy theories, when the whole damn time they've been shoving gravity on everybody and the theory of relativity. Well, that's all theory. The theory of evolution. They've been smacking you upside the face with that for years, telling you, well, this is pretty much fact, because that's what we're teaching everybody in school, so it must be fact by now. But it's not fact. It never did become fact. It never was fact. Gravity never was a fact. But you got sucked into hive mind. Everybody fell for it, and so if everybody fell for it, you should fall for it too, because who are you to actually think for yourself? Who are you to question any of this mainstream hive mind stuff? You're just, you're not educated. You're not. You see how they start to over-focus on the physicality of everything to degrade and denigrate you? Because if you're not driving in a fancy schmancy car and you don't have a certain amount of this and that attached to your name and on, then obviously you couldn't know anything. Obviously you couldn't have found anything out from going within yourself. You can't just go within yourself and discover stuff. There's nothing in you. You're empty. You need to be filled from the matrix, from the external reality. You need to be filled with all these theories like everybody else is, so long and so much and so hard that they now believe that it's fact. And they're ready to just accept it without even proving anything to themselves, because none of it needs proving. Why? You don't have time. You're being slave mastered. You're being sucked of your life force currency. And so every waking minute is spent serving this system that has enslaved you, and you bowing down to your slave master, saying, well, at least I'm thankful that I can go to McDonald's and get a happy freaking damn meal. Right? Because we're blessed to be able to do that. So you are also being targeted in that way, given some slop to eat, but making you think that you're supposed to feel blessed and feel grateful and raise your hands to the sky with a smile as you bite into that greasy, weaponized hamburger. Because your density, your frequency is being held at such a base level and a low level, you can't rise your consciousness to become aware of any of this. You can't expand your torus field in order to engulf a space bigger than your skin suit. You can't affect the greater reality, because you've been reduced to your most basic functioning level, which is so basic, so base, so low. That all of this is up in the clouds, right? The cloud, up in the cloud. All this higher information, all this knowledge, all this wisdom is up in the cloud, and you can't get near it. You're nowhere near it if you're in the matrix. So all the hope that they try to generate is all based on falsity, fakery, and you end up in a religion at the end of the day, because that's the best thing the matrix can give you and offer you. That's it. That's the highest you're going to go. Religion. Pick one. There's 3 main ones. Pick the one you want, because you're free. You have freedom, right? You're free. You're telling yourself all the while knowing you're really a slave, knowing that there's something bigger going on here, but can't admit it, won't admit it, still stuck in the egoic state, mind state. And so just pick one of your 3 religions, and that's it. That's as high as you get to go, and you get to place all your hope in that entity in that book that's telling all of them, we're coming back, all 3 of them. We're coming back. So that's the highest you get to go. That's the most hope you get to have. All right, so what about people outside the matrix? What about people outside the matrix? How do we have hope and find hope? especially if you're recently out of the matrix, if you've recently come out of it. Because at first you're just so smashed like a bug when you come out of it. You're like, holy shit, man, everything was a lie. Everything was a deception. Everything was trying to fool me into forgetting some very important stuff. That's really the goal, if you want to sum it up. You are to forget who you really are, what you really are, where you've really come from, and your connection to the Prime Creator. If we can get them to forget that, then we've got them. And we will sell them our crap. They will work feverishly night and day for all their entire life to pay us their money. And since we got everything on lock, we can make this shit for pennies and sell it to them for dollars. They'll stay poor, we'll stay rich, we'll stay in control, we'll keep controlling all the institutions from the hospitals to the schools to the churches to the banks, all of them. We will stay in control of them, and they will never see it. They will never see it, because they will never be able to get their consciousness to an elevated level where they could see it. And now with the crappy, worthless, terrible food that they're manipulating now, because they have to just get their dirty, nasty fingers in every single aspect of our lives. And I shit you not, they've got stuff coming in the future planned where you're going to be charged for air. You're going to be taxed for breathing. You're going to be told that you have to change every appliance in your house so that it's energy efficient, so that the PG&E fire starting smart ass meter can report to Big Brother how much energy your different appliances are using, and if you use a certain amount, they're just going to cut that shit off on you, and so you'll just be sitting for, let's say you're towards the end of the month, you've already exceeded your allotted amount of energy, fake ass energy, electricity when there's free energy, but that's another subject. But you've got 4 more days, but you've already passed your allotted amount, kilowatts, because they're trying to kill you a lot. They just turn you off, and so you sit for 4 days in darkness. Punished. You're punished. You're going to be punished. They already made a killing for making you change out all your utilities in the first damn place. And that's really what it's about, an influx of cash for their cash, because they're cows. Wow, I'm really going off here about this. So we haven't gotten, I think my time's going to end up running out. But anyway, so hope outside the matrix. How do people, once you realize all that crap and you see all that crap and you're smashed like a bug, you have to get through it. You have to make the adjustments. You have to get through the trauma. You have to transmute some things. And you have to get your bearings back. Or I shouldn't say back, because really you're just getting them for the first time. So you got to get your bearings for the first time ever in your entire life. I don't care how old you are. Right? And then you begin to build on that foundation. And that foundation is you. That foundation is from within. This structure that's going to be built is going to be built from the inside out, not from the outside in. And so that's where I get my hope. I get my hope knowing that I'm building that structure every day. Every day I am building the most fortified, the most solid, the most amazing, all the good things you want to say, because finally you can see the good side of life. Finally you can see that this damn circus act monkey show of reality in the Matrix is not the highest reality. Thankfully. If it was, I think we would all be ready to commit suicide. Right? But we have come to understand that no, that's not the highest reality. That is the circus. That is the monkey show. That is flip on the TV and zone out and become a zombie, because you're not going to grow, you're not going to expand, you're not going to know, you're not going to, you're just going to open a bag of chips and zone out. That's all the Matrix wants from you after they've siphoned off the majority of your energy. Have some you time. Have some you time. Sit in front of the TV and watch one of our new movies and eat some greasy chips and drink some kooky cola, and you'll feel great because you won't feel anything. You won't be thinking, so you won't have no heartaches in your mind. You won't get a headache because you won't be thinking. You'll just be zoned out, clueless, right? And you can just watch the news to find out about all the crazy shit going on in the world and think, man, I'm glad that's not me. But that is you, dummy. That is you. Where we go one, we go all. All are one. But you can't expect anybody in the Matrix to get that. Right? Love and light, my friends. I think I got dissed.